Hi, so I just wanted to go over some notes with you for the upcoming sections. So for this week, you're mostly going to focus on the vocabulary. So these are the terms that you need to know. A monomial means that the expression has one term. For example, 3x squared, nothing's added or subtracted. A binomial, think of a bicycle, has two terms, x plus 4. A trinomial, think of a tricycle, has three terms, x squared minus 2x, that's 2, plus 20 is 3, and then anything over that would be called a polynomial, has many terms. You'll also be asked about the degree of the polynomials. The degree is just the highest exponent. The easiest way to explain it is with an example. So the degree of 3x squared minus 4x to the 7th plus 6x to the 4th is highest exponent, 7. It's not always in order from highest to lowest. You'll also need to know these words. Linear means it has a degree of 1. So basically there would be a variable with no exponent because the imaginary exponent is 1. Quadratic is if you have a degree of 2, 3x squared. Doesn't matter how many terms, you're just looking at the highest exponent. Cubic would be a degree of 3, and quartic would be a degree of 4. There are names for the ones after this, but you don't really need to know those until Algebra 2, and usually they reteach that to you there. So adding and subtracting polynomials, the easiest way to explain it to you is through examples. So you're basically just combining like terms. So for example, if you have these two that you need to add, you're combining your like terms. So I combined, and I like to underline them sometimes with different types of underlining. So we could put like a little cloud thing, 3x to the 4th and 5x to the 4th give you 8x to the 4th. Negative 2x squared and negative 6x squared give you negative 8x squared. And then what happens with the constants, 1 and minus 1, they cancel out. So you don't have to write plus 0, but it's not wrong if you do. For subtracting, same process, but you have to remember to distribute the negative first. So what this becomes over here is minus 5x to the 4th plus 6x squared plus 1. So then again, you're combining like terms. 3x to the 4th minus 5x to the 4th is negative 2x to the 4th. Negative 2x squared plus 6x squared is 4x squared. And then you have your constants 1, and now it's plus 1, so plus 2. You can also distribute your negative and then arrange it like this, so that way your like terms line up. So I'll just pause here for a minute so you can check that over too. So if you're doing this the week of March 23rd, you can actually pause the video here, and if we're still using this whole virtual learning next week, then you can watch the rest of the video next week. So I'm just gonna like show you the notes in case you want to take a screenshot of just the notes, and you could crop out the bottom, you can, and have a great week. So this week we're focusing on just multiplying polynomials. So the best way to explain it is through examples. So we'll start with one where we're multiplying two monomials, like x to the 4th times x squared. Basically the exponent tells you how many times the variable is multiplied by itself. So x to the 4th is x times x times x times x, 4 of them. X squared, just going to put it in parentheses, is x times x. So when you're simplifying this, you see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's, so you have x to the 6th. If you have a monomial outside of a binomial, you're just using the distributive property, and you're multiplying your constants and then doing your variables. So first do 2 times 3, that's 6. Then x to the 4th times x is x to the 5th. Then you're just multiplying 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. X to the 4th, and then there's nothing there, so you could just leave it x to the 4th. The most common type is when you have two binomials that are being multiplied together. So we have 3x plus 4 times 2x minus 7. This is where you can use the FOIL method, which stands for first, outer, inner, last. So I multiplied the first terms in the parentheses. 3 times 2 is 6. X times x is x squared. Then I multiplied the outer terms in the parentheses, the outermost. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21, and then there's just 1x. Then I multiplied the inner terms. 4 times 2 is 8, positive 8, and x times nothing is just x. And then you multiply the last term. So 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. But you don't want to leave your answer like this. Always combine your like terms, which in this case are the negative 21x and 8x, which brings you to 6x squared minus 13x when you combine those two, minus 28. So this would be your final answer. And the last type you'll see is when you have a binomial squared. Be careful with these. It doesn't mean just distribute the squared in. What this means, because remember, x squared is x times x, right? So 2x plus 1 squared means 2x plus 1 times 2x plus 1. So you have to do the FOIL method again. So 2x times 2x, 2 times 2 is 4, x times x is x squared. First, outer, 2x times 1 is positive 2x. Same thing happens on the inner, 2x times 1 or 1 times 2x is positive 2x again. Then your last 1 times 1 is 1. And then just like we did in example 3, combine your outer and inner in the center, your like terms, and that gives you 4x in the center. So this would be your final answer. So when you're doing the third part, sorry, that's a 1. When you're doing the third part of this week's work, on the back of your mini poster, but your poster does not have to be big. It's like something like this, just 2 problems, details, explanations, correctness. And then on the back, what I just want you to do is try those 2 problems that I posted on the Google Classroom document. So for example, this is not one of them, but if I were to try this one, so the answer is x squared plus 5x plus 6. What was the problem? You can go about this any way you want, but if I were to do it, this is what I might set up. So I'm trying to figure out what FOIL problem gave me this. So I know that when I multiply the first 2 together, I need to get x squared. So I would put x here and x there. When I multiply the last 2 together, I need to get 6. So I could put 6 there and 1 there, but what has to happen is my outer and my inner, they need to add up to this middle number, 5x. So if I put 6 and 1, I'm not going to get 5 if I add them together. 6 and 1 is 7. My other options that would multiply to 6 at the end for the last number would be 2 and 3. Positive 2 and positive 3. So when I multiply the inner, I have 2x. When I multiply the outer, I have 3x. When I combine like terms, I would have 5x. So my FOIL would be x times x is x squared. Outer plus 3x. Inner plus 2x. Last, 2 times 3 is 6. That would simplify back to this problem. So you don't have to do it this way. I just wanted to give you some guidance in case you were like completely stuck. So I just want to like show you all of this, so that way if you want to take a screenshot of the notes, you can. And always feel free to email me if you have any questions. Have a great week.